get a bit of wire on this. I haven't really fully decided whether to get rid of this branch here. I think I'll get it wide, maybe get it into some sort of position and see what happens, but long term, if it was my tree, it would have gone probably straight away. But being a client's tree, we don't want to make too drastic of a change if they're not expecting it. Yeah.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
I've got a juniper.
Yep.
And I just repotted it about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And it's just in a development growing pot.
Yeah.
It's now started to go quite sort of yellow and a bit brittle, particularly on the top. Like the bottom's still really nice and lush and green, really soft, quite nice.
Yep. Almost like this.
Worse than that.
Worse than that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably dead.
Like I did the scratch test and all that sort of stuff. It's still green on those branches.
Yep.
But it's definitely starting to spread.
And it's just like in the apex, so just the top? No, or is it?
It's definitely on the apex, but it's also got some of the sort of middle branches have started to go as well.
Yeah, right.
But definitely at the bottom, it's still completely healthy and nice.
Okay.
I've got a feeling it's waterlogged.
Yep.
Because at the very bottom, like I put some pumice.
Yep.
And then it's just like regular growing soil.
Yeah.
But the pumice seems like still wet, which I don't understand.
Okay.
I would have thought it would drain properly.
It should. It should. Do you have a photo of the tree at all?
Nah,
No.
we weren't even expecting to come here today.
Yeah, right,
yeah. And then I thought, oh, maybe when I repotted, I took too many roots out. Didn't leave enough.
How much do you reckon you took off?
I don't reckon I took more than like 30%.
I don't think it'll be that then.
Yeah.
If it's sort of spread its way through the tree,
Yeah, definitely.
and it's not just one branch that's struggling, without sort of seeing it, the original soil that's left in it could just be real.
Yeah.
And it's probably just not getting enough oxygen or drainage through it.
Yep.
Particularly if being in a nursery pot for its whole life, it's probably never had that original like root ball soil changed at all. How much bigger of a pot did you put it in? Or same sort of size?
No, it was probably 2 sizes up. But there was, like when I took it out, the roots were really quite long and it was definitely root bound.
Yep.
So I had to do a lot of just breaking it out.
Yep.
So I didn't think it'd be too much of an issue going that size.
It's tricky without sort of seeing it in person because, I mean, it could be any number of things. Generally with junipers as well though, it could be something that happened before you repotted it.
Yep.
And then maybe the repot has just sort of taken it that step further and just gone, now it's done, sort of thing. Could be that maybe you took out a root that was directly linked to the apex, particularly if the rest is still green and you've got fresh new green growth on it and it's pushing growth, then that's good.
Yep.
At least the whole tree's not dead.
Yeah.
Probably just be that top section that's going to die off.
Yep. I was thinking as well, because I've still been fertilising.
Yep.
In a stressed state, I don't really know if that's good for it or it should give it a rest from it.
I would probably give it a rest of fertiliser for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, just let it go without fertiliser. And then once you start to see that health kick back into it, then you can start fertilising again. Yep. I am obviously wearing 2 jumpers as well, and it may seem crazy, but it's quite cool under the tree here. So, although in saying that, I just got hot all of a sudden. That is good, nice and healthy too.
No.
Yeah.
Get it before it gets away.
Well, I've got to start somewhere, don't I?
That is a good starting point, good size as well.
And you just need it to survive before the course starts.
Well, in the course, you'll get a tree to work on as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we start off with a tree sort of this size.
Yeah.
We wired and pruned this one all out, but you'll start it pretty much untouched,
Yeah.
and you'll go through and you'll do all the wiring and the pruning and the styling of it.
I know, I've got a
Yeah.
tiny I just spoke to the man, I've got a tiny ginkgo at home.
Quite a huge ginkgo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I snapped the top off it.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's what you like.
It's really invigorating.
Well, if I'm going to buy something, it's got to be this.
I'm not going to say you must be so patient.
Did he do that speech, did he? Like, there is a little bit of patience to it. Particularly if you're spending, a week on a tree, that requires a fair bit of patience. But otherwise, yeah, it's not so
You
bad.
must be so visual.
Yeah, I think it does help. Again, it comes with experience, but a lot of the times with that experience, you can sort of look at something and go,
And then
"This
you
is
can-
what needs to
yes,
happen."
yes, of
Yeah.
course. You need that framework to start.
Yeah, and some people get that pretty quickly. It is quite easy to pick up on, as long as you're looking at varieties of different styles and how trees look. You can it's almost like muscle memory for the brain, that you can go, oh yeah, well, I've seen a tree look like this to start with. I've seen what it can become. I sort of know what to do.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Doing a wonderful job.
Thanks.
We're coming back. We're all buying bonsai.
Awesome.
Start our own group.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
No worries.
So enjoyable.
Yeah, have a lovely day. How you doing?
Are we allowed to peruse the...
Yeah, just jump over that. Yeah, that's fine.
That's awesome.
So if we're not connecting it to another piece of wiring or another branch, always just do like a little hook, like that. I don't know if you can see a hook like that. And I feel like a fashion makeup influencer doing that. But that will just help anchor to, a particular section on a trunk or a big branch. It's just going to help you get a little bit more strength and stability into the wiring, because you don't have that connection point of another branch or another piece of wire. So we've just got a couple more main branches up here to wire, which I might just smash them out now, get them done. Yeah, if you guys like, I can do like a video about wiring. There's a lot out there already, so I don't sort of want to saturate the content with the same old things. But if anyone is interested in, learning how to wire a bit more, certain tips and tricks that you can do, which sort of varied depending on the person, I can certainly do a video on that. And anything else that anybody's interested in, feel free to just comment and say what you might be keen on learning about, and I can try and do a video about it. But like I said, there's many other people that have done that content already, and probably better. Oh, I actually really quite like this. So now I've got a little bit of wire on there. I actually don't mind it from this angle, like right in here, having the trunk like that. You get this sort of a nice look to it, nice slender trunk. I don't know if that's the way I'll go with it, but it's an option. So don't know, I might have to get some thick boy wire out to try and bring this up. Let's see if I can do this. Getting things up can be tricky sometimes. If wire's not doing the job of getting something in a downward angle, then that's easy to deal with what we call a guy wire, where you have an anchor point down low, whether it's a lower branch or in the soil and our tie-ins. You can anchor a piece of wire from the point of the branch that you want to angle downwards, down to that bottom point, and then tighten that, and that'll get much more of a tension on the branching, which often wire can't always do, particularly on the older thick branches. Wire's almost never going to do that. So that's when we can use guy wires, but getting something upwards can sometimes be tricky. You know, you might put a stake sort of through like this, pretend this is sort of, you know, like a metal rod or a stake, and then you can tie it to that because it's always obviously going to stay in place. Don't really want to do that on a client's tree. We still want it looking presentable. So we won't be doing that today, so I will have to try and just get a little bit more height in this apex section, which could be tricky, but we'll try. I think I've found a point that I can anchor to. I don't think that spot's going to work actually. How you going?
And will you be selling, do they sell like starter plants for bonsais?
Yeah, so that's sort of like our starter stuff up there. We'll have more stock in a couple of weeks' time as well, but for your sort of starter junipers, we're all along here. You can just pop over that rope as well if you did want to go have a look. We've got pines, cotoneasters, crepe myrtles, a small variety of things. A few things up in that back cage as well that are sort of younger stock. I think I'm going to have to anchor to a branch that I don't really want to. How you doing? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully they'll get a little bit better. Thank you.
He's always filming. You got to be careful. I know. All right, Rob. Nice to see you, my man. Thanks again. Yeah, no worries. See you later.
See you, mate. Have a good day. I can kind of see something out of here, but whether I really like it. So there's a few issues with this tree, which I may have spoken about earlier, but you've got a nice sort of literati style trunk, you know, nice and slender, not a crazy amount of taper, which you can sort of get away with the literati sort of bungeon style. But then you've got this section that pretty much almost gets to like a 90-degree angle and then quite straight, and then it wraps like back around the back of the tree. Not ideal, but you can't really do anything with it, so it's more just a case of trying to hide that at this stage, which I think should be relatively easy to do no matter where I end up putting the front of the tree, which I think might be up in here. Alrighty, let's get cranking on this. I think I will be able to get a bit of lift out of this, but always do these things gradually and always try and do it at the bend of the wire. You don't want to be creating a massive bend where there's no wire that's holding it in place. So you'll see the coil of the wire, and you don't want to be bending where there's no wire on the outside of that bend. Maybe that can come down a little bit. Oh, I like that. I do like that. Didn't wire that bit. Why did I not wire that? So I got sidetracked. So I think I've found the front of the tree. So basically, right in there. This will need a little bit of thinning out, but now that I've found the tree, sound like I've just made like some historical discovery, but for this one, kind of. Maybe not historical, but an important find nonetheless. How you doing, mate?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
That's good.
Anything I can help you with?
I spoke to the boss
Oh yeah,
last week. I said I'd come down this weekend.
Yeah, cool.
I bought a bonsai probably 2 months ago.
Yep.
And I sent some photos.
Yep.
And I'm just concerned about that. So he said to bring it in, whether I need to loosen up the wire or have a bit of a, you're not sure what's going on with
I
it.
think it's gone. This is still healthy. So all the
Just gutted 'cause
probably.
it started, it was green. And
Yeah.
it started shifting back. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
And I called and then
Yeah. Look, it's.
the gentleman who I saw last time said just leave it.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think it's not too drastic. We've got.
Can we save it?
Yeah, definitely. It's really just this. So this is obviously on the same branch here.
Do we know why? Like, what's happened? Is it the wire? Is it too
No,
tight?
I
Is there
don't
a
think it'll be
crack?
the wire. It might have just been during the wiring that perhaps it like it maybe just snapped a little bit during the wiring.
Okay.
But what we'll do is we'll take this off.
Will that grow back, or is that it's gone?
No, this particular piece won't, but you've got this piece right here.
Yeah.
So that'll end up taking its spot.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll go right back and we'll take that piece off. So then we can just move this up a little bit. So that'll now take its spot like that. This will all fill out. So this is all really healthy. It's from the same branch,
Okay.
but it must have just been, maybe it just got snapped a little bit at some point, whatever the case may be. Sometimes they just die off a little bit as well.
Okay.
I think now that's going to be fine. As you can see, that's super healthy.
Yeah.
Everywhere else on the tree is really healthy. It must have just been that one particular section of the tree.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask
Yep.
is, I wanted to top it up with a little bit of moss into some filling because I don't have any of that.
Yep.
I just wondered if it was okay if I could top up here if you have time.
Yeah, do you want new moss on it or just full sort of moss?
Whatever you would recommend, and one that's going to stay because it keeps drying out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I water it in the morning, I spray it up. When I get home, I spray it up, and then I sink it in, like I was instructed, a bowl of water,
Yep.
just for a minute or two,
Yep.
up to here. I do that every second day, or should I not be? Is that too much? Am I watering him too much?
When you say every morning you're watering,
So I've got a spray bottle.
Yep.
I just spray just the top.
okay.
When I get home, I do it again.
Yep.
And then every second day, I'm full.
So generally when we're watering, particularly each day, it's best to get like, rather than a spray bottle, get like a mini watering can or even just a hose. Just get like a soft sort of spray hose.
Okay. How long do I, like, because I don't want to overwater it.
You won't overwater it at the time that you're watering.
Okay.
So the only way that you're going to overwater something is if you're watering it 5 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're soaking that for 2 minutes in the morning, that's fine. Because all that's going to happen is as the water's going on top, it's just going to keep draining through.
Sure.
And that's going to ensure that every section of the root ball is getting water,
Right.
which is good. So when you do water, soak it.
Soak it, done.
You will have to be a little bit careful because when I say like a soft spray, it can, if it's too harsh straight on it, it's just going to kick out some of the topsoil here. Otherwise, to try and keep the moss alive a little bit easier, you can use that spray bottle, but just as like a moss watering, don't use that as actually watering the tree. So you can just spray a little bit on top, try and keep the moss moist.
So get my bowl, plunge him.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
there.
yeah.
How long for?
You can probably do that maybe every 2 weeks. If you're watering with a hose every day in the morning, that's going to be enough. Okay. And then coming into summer, that'll be a good time to then start soaking it. Okay. And you can soak it for 15 minutes if you wanted to.
Okay.
And that's just going to ensure that it just brings up all the water into it.
All right. So what I should do now is get the hose,
Yep.
put them down.
Yep.
And do that when I get back in the evening as well.
It depends. It's in full sunlight all day?
So do you want him in full sunlight? Because I feel like that's killing him.
No.
Because I leave him out there for half the day.
Yeah.
And then when I come in, I take him out.
That's fine. If you're leaving him out for half the day, I would say, yeah, do it like for morning. Okay. And if it's getting full sun during the morning up until lunchtime
he's getting full sun.
Full sun's perfect. We don't move any of our trees into any sort of shade.
When that's all dried up, I'm like, oh my God, is he dying?
Yeah.
Like,
Junipers can handle a little bit of drying in between waterings. If it was a deciduous, they prefer a moist sort of soil.
Sure.
Junipers can handle that little bit of dryness, but that's not to say let it dry out, so to speak. But if you do see it a little bit dry, don't panic too much. Just water it. What we can do is I can get rid of this.
It keeps falling off.
Yeah, it's a little bit...
Is there anything I can do to keep him on? Keep them on?
It can be tricky. Moss is sort of a living entity on its own in that, you know, you could have a healthy tree with moss sitting on top of it and the moss will just die.
Because I'm seeing all your great bonsais and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm like looking at I'm giving them more care than them.
Yeah, I know the feeling. This particular climate is ideal for moss. So being up elevated, it's a little bit cooler here. It's a little bit more humid here as well. Whereas I live 20 minutes down the mountain, completely different climate. And my moss dries out all the time at home on my trees. Yeah. And then pretty much after summer, during winter, it'll come back. They generally just sort of dry out during summer and then they'll come back to life in winter. If not, you can replenish it.
He keeps moving, the moss just keeps moving. I'm like,
yeah. Got some fresh stuff here for you.
Yes, so he told me with the moss just to spray it.
Yeah.
And take it and hold.
Yeah, so use that spray that you were using, but don't use that as a watering of the tree. Yeah. So even when you do mist it, don't think, oh, the tree's going to be fine for water.
Well. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm going to do a lap.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
Yeah, but I'm going to do a class as well. Apparently the schedule's up.
It is, yes. Yeah, that's all up now, all next year, so yeah.
So there's none this year? Or?
No.
Mainly on Saturdays or Sundays?
Sundays, yep. So this is the little tree that we've just remossed. Cool little one. I remember shaping this originally, actually.